What's that we need?
Yeah, that was awesome. You must have felt good about that. Huh? So this idea of keeping things to scale and making sure you're able to finish, that might be something important for you. So you were doing it big and without those support. So that's two big pieces of learning you did. And the joints are. Big day, big day.
I already put it on. And I don't like to for me it's like
I know.
very hard. It might be more work. I don't care.
Pretty easy. Well, maybe the next time you discover someone else's, you can think about what they might be feeling, and they might be feeling something you do.
And do that.
Why do you think that is? Okay, enough. Go in and apologize if you think so. You're running away. Go in and talk. That was you. Go. You did that twice.
Let's try
You have about 90 seconds anyway.
Son tres. Mira, una para hacer el carpet y dos para hacer pues. And you work ¿qué haces cosas? ¿Por qué no vuelvo a ver a Samuel? Está en una casa. Chao, Fajardis. Hi, Gabby. Hey, Greg. How are you doing? No, I know what Yes. Yes. Where? Hey, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. How many people were ready? We was ready. He was ready. I was ready. I was ready. I was ready. Emilia was ready. I was ready 1 second before the time end. I was ready.
All right, so 9 out of 23. I actually think that's probably close to a record for us. After by 3 minutes. I think our top was 6. So we can get better. I did see some strategies of people getting ready before they left. So I think showing you what you needed to be ready maybe helped out. So I'll continue to do that for sure. That's one way I can help. I think I saw someone maybe get material for somebody else. Like they thought of, as they were getting paper, they're like, let me get paper for other people. And that helped out some people to be ready. So there's definitely things that we can do for each other to help people The three ladies that were on the computer, it seemed like you didn't have a strategy to get ready. You kind of got ready too late. Okay.
I'm not supposed to say no. The boxes.
I didn't move.
When someone
Okay. All right. Writing drafts. There may have been a time in your life that revising meant, you get out the special pen, you go through, maybe you make a little changes here and there. Maybe it's like you wrote, it's a Monday morning, and you're like, I can do better than that. It's a cold Monday morning. They're like, wait, no, I can do better than that. It's a cold and dreary Monday morning. And that might be, you're probably right here with Luciana. And that might be the way you're used to revising. And what I'm here to teach you this year, and probably the biggest idea that you need to use and to move forward with and to integrate into your life, is this idea of revision and what it means in 5th grade. Okay? What it means in 5th grade is taking your story, getting that flash draft out, and then pretty much that next day, or whenever it is you're sitting down to write that story again, completely starting that story over again and writing it in a different way, start to finish. So I'm going to talk about that today. I don't have an image and a visual because, well, I was super tired last night, so I couldn't get it finished this morning. So I apologize for not having the visual. I'll probably make one and then share that online, but I am recording this anyway. And so basically what the whole idea is that writers, when they revise, you write the whole story again from a different perspective, a different idea. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. Here's one way. This is a very small. So this happened on Thursday. So I wrote this 2 different ways. Bang! Children's heads bolted upright. They waited to see if something else would happen. After a few moments, laughter and excited talk filled the room. After a few more moments of students not getting back to work, I frustratingly said, "Those pens better be moving. You were supposed to leave the learning area only when you knew what you wanted to write about." This was Thursday afternoon, right? During writing. When the lightning hit, okay, or when the thunder went boom. All right, so that's one way we could write it. A different way I could write it is this. Why is almost no one writing? I thought to myself, why? I mean, like, my instructions were good. My mini lesson was solid. I modeled what they were supposed to be doing. How could it possibly, bang? Oh, great. This is sure to distract them even more. And now that I see they are distracted and they're not getting back to work, man, am I getting super frustrated. Get those pens moving. So it's a different way. I asked myself, what was that really about? It wasn't about me getting upset after the lightning struck. It was that I was frustrated before the lightning even happened. And so it was a different way to write the same thing that happened. Okay? And so I don't think I told you what my writing is going to be. My writing is going to be about the last time I played soccer for a team. Okay? And that happened in 5th grade when I was in Utah. And so I have a draft that kind of goes through that game. And it goes through the beginning to the end. And then I thought, that's not really what's important about that game. It's not important what happened in the game. What is important and what I need to rewrite this about, I think, is why was it the last game I ever played? Because that's a more interesting story. I got down, it's like the first draft is like you're clearing your throat so you can talk a little bit better. You're doing some vocal warm-ups or some guitar, if you go to a concert, they're like ding, dong, 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 dong. They're tuning their guitars, right? So that's what that is. You're just getting something down. You're getting that idea out. You're fleshing it out. Now, the second one that you're going to do today, now we're taking it from a different angle. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have my one draft about soccer. And the last time I played soccer, I talk about the game. But what I want to do and what you're going to do, just not now, this is why you have that piece of paper. I fold it in half. I fold it again. So now I have a notebook. I have this little, I have this little kind of story arc that I can think about. Okay, and what's really important to me to communicate is I was super happy at the end of the soccer game. And in about 30 minutes, I was completely and utterly devastated. And I need to talk about that. I need to talk about how I went from being so excited and so happy to just being like, are you kidding me? Like in a moment of just like 30 minutes. So I need to make sure I go that route. So maybe that first part of my story, it's about the game, maybe the very end of the game. And I might even talk about why I was so excited. Maybe I'll talk about I had never been on a good team before, and we were undefeated, and we were heading to the playoffs. That was probably something pretty important to write about. Just the end, just the feeling. And then maybe that drive home, kind of go through that quickly, kind of set the stage that I'm getting home. And then maybe I'll talk about what happened when I walked into that kitchen. And then my mom's like, you're leaving. We're leaving. We're moving in a week. We're going back to Florida. And there's my feelings there. And this whole idea that I was finally, so I'm probably going to have to do some flashbacks now I think about it. I was finally on a good team. I had been on the worst team in the league for years. And then I was on the best. And yet I was still not able to finish that season. So, and that was the last game that I ever played. And I could probably write more about that now I'm thinking about it. I could probably write that story from many different angles. But that's definitely what I'm going to do. Where I started from, that real happiness, and then where I end just being completely upset and devastated yet again that we were moving. Okay, so I definitely, and I have my path now. So that's what I want you to do now. I want you to think about that draft you wrote and think about what is it really about? My story wasn't really about my last game playing soccer. That wasn't what it was really about. It was really about, once again, like A, not being able to compete for the championship, which drove me. That was just heartbreaking. And second, I was having to leave all my friends again. Like in the matter, it was like the third, fourth time in my life in a row, like third year in a row that I had to do that. So I was just tired of it. I was tired of it. So I need to communicate that. And that's my job in the second draft, is to do that. So I want you to think, what is your story right now? What is it about? And what might be another thing it could possibly be about? So have that in your head right now. Think about that for about a minute. What might be your story really about? Just think about that. What might it really be about? Okay. Now take that piece of paper that I gave you, fold it in half, fold it in half again, so you have kind of like a half and half. So you take a little fourths. So you have a little booklet, a little teeny tiny booklet, and start doing a little planning. I just talked and I kind of visualized what I was going to put in each part of the story. All right. What you might want to do is you might want to write some words down. You might want to end of a soccer game. So it's like drive to the house, conversation with my stepdad, in the kitchen, talking to my mom, complete devastation, flashbacks. So I'm just planning out what this new draft you're going to do, this new angle, this new thought you might be writing about. What is it going to be? Do a little bit of planning right now. You could, yeah, a word. So it's like beginning and end, and then the middle. So beginning, middle, and end. No, it's just a little booklet.
Okay. For example, we come to the beginning here.
Whatever makes your sense. Whatever makes sense. But this will be a little guide to help you as you're writing. Okay. You stay there, and I'll talk to you afterward.
So you write the story?
Do not write the story. At most, you're writing a couple words. But just as did I write my story? No. Guys, this is a mini lesson. I model exactly what you need to do with words and actions. So you need to be paying attention to what I'm doing, because I'm going to just ask you to do the same thing. I know you can think about that and figure that out for yourself. Okay, so if you feel comfortable that you're in a good spot, that you can go sit down and start to write automatically on those 2 fresh sheets of paper, a new draft about this same small moment, you can go and do that. Okay. If, however, you want to take a little bit more time planning, please do that too. Okay, so that's choices up to you. It really doesn't matter, but I mean, this is like a book, a 4-page book, beginning, middle, and end. So I'm struggling with the confusion behind this, guys. I'm sorry. It's just a book. It's just a different way to plan things. You don't have to write anything on it. It's just so you can visualize what the beginning is, what the middle is, and what the end is. And it always helps to keep the beginning and the end in mind as you're doing that.
We can take it on a desk.
Fine, go. It's your spot. One of the goals today is to have a completely done second draft that is different from your first. Not in a few words, not in a few descriptions, but from a completely different perspective. What is your story really, truly, honestly about?